Hi garden friends. I'm out here under the trees in the garden and I wanted to do our activity for week number 10. This week we have an art project that we get to do. So this picture that I'm showing you right now, this is an abstract artwork by someone called Vasily Kandinsky. And Kandinsky is known as one of the innovators who developed what we call abstract art. Abstract art is often shapes and colors and not necessarily something recognizable, like a house or people. So Kandinsky was born in Moscow, Russia, in 1866. So that's almost 200 years ago. He grew up in Russia and he learned music. He learned to play the piano and the cello. And he would later say that even as a child, the colors of nature dazzled him. So one of our activities is to kind of think about the colors we see in nature. And then we're going to make a tree based on this work of Kandinsky's art. It doesn't have to look exactly like it. We're not trying to replicate it. We're just using this as inspiration for our artwork. So I have two versions, and I'm not entirely sure if everyone got the same version. I apologize. I can't quite remember what went on in the packets, and my copies are a little bit different. So there's this version, which shows you, that gives you kind of an idea of what we're going for to make our tree look, more like a tree. And then there's this version, which is really fun, because what you get to do with this version is you can cut the circles out and glue the tree onto a separate piece of paper. So, I'm just realizing I didn't bring myself a great big piece of paper to glue this on. Let's see, I wonder if I can glue it into my science notebook. I bet I can. Let's see, there's my KWL chart. So, if you have this one that you're going to cut out, I think what you might want to do, whichever version you have, you're going to color these circles first. Now, let me show you Kandinsky's work again. Remember that it was very colorful. Now, if you have a couple of favorite colors that you want to pick and focus on, that'll be great. If you want to use just every color you can imagine, that's great too. The fun thing about art is there's no wrong way to do it. You're the artist. You decide what you want your art to look like. So I'm going to just start on mine a little bit. It's windy. I'm going to have to get a little rock here. Okay. So let me put that there. I picked colors today that remind me of fall because we're just going into the fall season. So I do have a lot of green because that's my favorite color, but then I have golds and browns and a little bit of orange. I have like a yellow orange and an orangey orange. So I thought I would color my circles in these colors. So if you have this one that you're going to cut out, I think you want to do the coloring first, because if you were to cut out all the little circles, to color them individually when they're little tiny circles, I think would be a little challenging. If you really want to do it that way, you certainly may. But I feel like it's going to be a little bit easier if you take the time to color your circles first. That's much more orange than I expected it to be. And then after you get them all colored, you can cut them out and glue the base of your tree. So you'll cut this out and you'll glue it onto a piece of paper. You can glue it into your science notebook like I'm going to, or if you have a piece of construction paper that you want to glue it onto, that's great too. this is a piece of art, so it doesn't really have to be in your science notebook unless you really want it in there, okay? So I'm just coloring my circles. I think I'm going to do the outside one yellow. Now I wonder, while you're watching me color, if you can hear what's going on around me. So there's a crow in one tree kind of fussing at some other birds. There's a pair of red-tailed hawks I just saw, and the crow was kind of yelling at those hawks to get away from his tree. It's kind of funny, actually. That crow did not want the hawks near his tree. I wonder, maybe the crow's a female crow, and maybe she has babies. It's not really the season, though, I guess, right? I think birds usually hatch their babies in the spring. But I don't know a ton about birds, so I could be wrong. If you know, I wonder if any birds would be having babies in the fall. If you're a bird expert and you know, go ahead and let me know. You can send me an email. You can tell me on the garden Google form when you fill it out. You can let your teacher know, and they can tell me if you know. Do birds ever have babies in the fall? I'm curious. I think maybe they only have them in the spring, but I'm not totally certain. So I will definitely defer to the experts on that. So if you want to incorporate blues and purples and reds, you can definitely do that. You are not going to be, you're not limited by my color choices. These are just the colors I was feeling like I wanted to incorporate today. Because they feel this sort of earthy greens and golds and oranges and browns. They feel very fall to me. Although I will tell you right now, it's very sunny on part of the garden, and my feet are warm. It's really sunshiny on my feet right now. It's kind of funny. So, these Kandinsky trees are just a fun way to explore trees and think about, what do trees look like? Obviously, with these fun circles, we aren't making super realistic looking trees, but the fun thing about art is that it doesn't have to be exactly correct according to the way things appear in nature, right? We can use nature as an inspiration to create art, but we don't have to worry about it being, drawing the tree exactly like the way the tree looks. It can just be however we want to imagine the tree would look. If I made a tree out of circles, this is what my tree would look like. Now, another fun thing you could do with this, I was going to say a word and then I didn't define that word for you yet. So these are called concentric circles. That's kind of a big word, concentric. Let me see if I can find a dark marker and I can write the word down for you. Concentric. There you go. Can you see that? Yeah, concentric circles. So that means a circle within a circle within a circle within a circle. Now, if you've done the tree ring worksheet, you can see where we kind of get that idea for tree rings, right? If you were to get a cross section of a tree trunk, you would see the rings inside that tree that are we call them tree cookies or tree rings, and that's visible by every year that the tree grows. It adds a ring to it. So that's why I picked this for our art project, because I thought, oh gosh, that looks a lot like the actual science we're doing this week too. We're learning about the internal structure of a tree. And then we have this fun art project that sort of just matches it nicely. So what you're going to do after you color all of your circles, I'm going to go ahead and kind of jump ahead. I see that I don't have them all colored, but just to be able to give you an example so you don't have to wait for me to color all of them, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut out my tree base. Now, if you want to get really, really close to your tree, you can, but you don't have to. I think it will be perfectly fine since we're gluing these circles onto the tree. We don't need to worry about cutting out exactly every tiny little twig and branch. There we go. Okay, so let me set this here. I've got to get something to hold down. Now again, I'm gluing mine into my science notebook because I forgot to grab myself a piece of construction paper. But if you would like to glue yours to construction paper or a separate piece of paper so that you have your artwork that you could, put up on the wall, that's fine. This does not have to go into your notebook unless you want to do it. That's fine too. Either way. So I'm going to try and get my tree kind of close to the bottom edge of the paper because I want lots of room up top to glue my circles. So I've glued that on. Let me find my lid for my glue. There we go. Now again, you can use whatever type of glue you want. I personally like glue sticks because they're not very messy. Okay, so next I'm going to cut out the circles that I've colored. And so these you probably want to try and stay close to the edge if you can. But if there's a little bit of white, that's fine. You can either go in and add more color if you want to, or you can just leave a little bit of white around your circle. So there's one. I'm curious to see what colors everybody chooses to use in their art project. Now, I chose to use markers because I thought that would be the closest to kind of match Kandinsky's bright colors. He used really bright colors in his artwork. Let me pull that example back for you. See, he used really bright, I feel like this is a really cheerful painting too. Those are very sort of cheerful, happy colors to me. But I will say, even though we're using sort of his artwork as inspiration, if you prefer colors that are softer, if you like pastel colors, really soft pinks and soft blues and greens, that's totally fine too. You are welcome to use those softer colors because this is your artwork. So you're just imagining what would the tree look like if I could put all these circles on it, like the circles are their leaves. And then another thing you can think about doing, maybe you want to draw around your tree after you get the tree and the circles on. You could, maybe there's a bird sitting in your tree or flying over your tree. Maybe the sun is shining, maybe there's clouds in the sky. Maybe it's a rainy day and there's like gray clouds and it's raining. It's totally up to you. You can use your imagination. I am going to glue some of my circles on. Let's see. So you see my circles are all kind of different colors. They don't really, none of them match exactly. Okay, I'm going to put one here. I think I'm going to put this one out here. And then I'm going to put this one down here. Put this one down here. And then I have a bunch more circles to color, and then I can add on. And you can use as many or as few circles as you want. I could just be done right there, but I do want to add some more. So I'm going to add more, but you can do all, I'm not sure if it's 20 or 15 circles. You can use all of them or you can use half of them. It's totally up to you. So again, this is by an artist, or inspired by an artist called Vasily Kandinsky. Let me see if I can show you his name because I know sometimes it's nice. There you go. Vasily Kandinsky. And I know that's a W, and in English, a W makes a W sound. But he was Russian, so W's in Russian often make more of a V sound. So his name is pronounced Vasily, like as if there were a V there. Isn't that interesting? Okay. So here's the one way to arrange your circles, but you can do it any way you want. And let me show you that original artwork again. Here's his beautiful concentric circle abstract art. All right, garden friends, I hope you enjoyed this art project. I look forward to seeing pictures of what your art looks like. And yeah, have a great week and get outside and enjoy the trees, okay? Take care, friends.